I want to talk to you about your project. So I'm coming down here where I believe I put potential task frame project for you. And in this case, it's the buy a car project. So I want to click on it and walk you through how you are to do this. I tried to make it a one pager, and this is a one pager with 8 questions. Now, probably I should have reduced this down to maybe just one question, but this is a project. And for me, you should answer at least 8 to 10. You should have multiple pages, but I only gave you one. So I want you to go to a car buying website, I don't know which one, whatever one you can find, and put the name of your dream car and why you chose it. Maybe you want a Porsche because you've always wanted a sports car. Maybe like me, you've always wanted a Mini Cooper, which I got, and then someone backed into it. So now the front of it looks real special. But anyhow, part 2 says use the factor table or the monthly payment formula and a calculator to determine your car payment if you want to take out a loan for 9% for 5 years. This is loan number 1. Now, when you're answering these questions, you can answer them right here on the page, or as I say right here, you can show and attach your work. I'm good with it. Email it, put it right up in here. I put a little assignment link for you to use to put it up in here. And in case you need to see that assignment link, I'm going to go back to Moodle and I'll show it to you. Submit your project here by November the 30th. So this gives you a good little 2-week window. This is something to kind of help boost your test grade, and as we just saw this morning, it needs a good little boost. Yes, it does. So let's talk about the monthly payment formula. Let me give you that. This is just a formula that you can plug right in. Now, our monthly payment formula works like this. I'm going to go ahead and write it on this screen. M stands for your monthly payment. All right, we start out with P. P stands for principal. Principal is how much does this car cost? 20,000, 75,000, 200,000. I don't know what your dream car costs. Maybe it's 7,000. That's what my first one did. And then we put R for the rate written as a decimal and over N for the number of times you're going to pay this. Now come on. When you're paying for a car, it's every month. So N's going to be 12 most of the time. Now on the bottom, we're going to do 1 minus parenthesis 1 plus R over N. That's the same R and N right up here, but it's going to be raised to the negative N over T power. Now I've written all that out for you, but let me tell you what each letter stands for once again, because I don't want anybody confused. The M stands for the monthly payment. That's what you're looking for. That's what you're trying to figure out. The P stands for the principal. How much does the car cost? The R stands for the rate as a decimal. Now you've seen a formula like this before. That formula was the future continuous interest formula. You know, how much can compound interest? If you bought this for 12 months, what is it? That's this type of formula, but I'm just giving it to you. The N, this little N, number of compounding periods, the number of times you make a payment. But I'm just going to say number of compounding periods. But to really be specific, how many times you pay in a year? Let's put a 12 here, folks. All right, and the only other variable is T, and that's your time in years. How long you going to pay for this car? Now, in general, when we have a car payment, it's about, 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, if you can convince them to extend it all the way out then. And the object of this project is for you to investigate. If you choose a different time, like from 4 to 7 years, this one was 5, but if you chose 4 or you chose 7, does it make a difference if you try to spread out your payments over 7 years? Are you really paying less? Are you really paying more? What interest are you paying? So let's talk about number 2. I'm going to go ahead and do number 2, and then I'm going to show you this factor table that I also included. This is a new type of thing. This is something that accountants have at their discretion because, some mathematician took the time to multiply every interest rate and every time period to come up with a factor amount, a factor table amount. But anyhow, just to make it easier on people so they don't have to go through that calculation that I just showed you. But let's talk about number 2. Let me show you how you could do it. So if I want to figure out the monthly payment for a particular car. Now, I'm going to go and pick a car. Maybe I can go to Kelley Blue Book. Cars for sale. Let's do it. Carvana. We've seen those commercials. So we're going to go to Carvana. And I'm going to pick a dream car. I don't even care what it is. Here we go. First one, BMW. Here I go, getting a BMW. Look at me. So this is my dream car, and it costs $22,990. Good for me. So since this is my dream car, I'm going to stick it up here. And maybe you could also stick it in a Word document to make your, project look really neat and wonderful. You can make it look as neat and wonderful as you want to make it look. If you want to put it on lined paper and draw the car yourself, go for it. So, what's my first task according to the project? Let me go right here. Question number 2 says, using the monthly payment formula, determine your car payment. All right, so this is what you would do. Monthly payment is equal to $22,990 times, they gave me a rate, didn't they? What was that rate? 9%. So my rate's going to be 0.09, written as a decimal, because you go 2 places, to the left, and then I'm going to pay this car payment every month for a year, or however many years. We'll find out about that in a minute. 1 minus 1 plus 0.09 divided by 12. Now, how long am I supposed to pay for this thing? For 5 years. All right, so this is going to be negative 5 times 12. Now, if I were you, I would do what 5 times 12 is beforehand. That's 60. So it's going to be a negative 60. Now, all that's left for us to do is punch this in our handy dandy calculator and calculate the results. Now, if you don't have a handy dandy calculator, you have not taken the time to go to your cell phone or even your computer and download Wabbit Emu, which gives you an emulator for free of the TI-84 calculator. If you haven't gone by the library to borrow one, because they let you borrow it for a short period of time, you can use Desmos here. I'm not a Desmos, stan. I don't know how to use Desmos, but it's a free calculator that you can use. But anyhow, enough of my soapbox. 22,990 times 0.09 divided by 12. Now, I could be, real scared and go ahead and do this so I could have my numerator, but I'm not scared. So I'm going to hit divide, and in a parenthesis, I'm going to put everything on the bottom. 1 minus parenthesis 1 plus 0.09 divided by 12. Hallelujah. I'm going to close that up, and I'm going to raise it to the negative 60. I'm trying to demonstrate to you that you can punch this into your calculator in a minute. I'm going slow though. Anyhow, I don't need to put that parenthesis right there because, the calculator doesn't like that kind of thing. So I'm going to hit delete on that one, and I'm going to make it a bigger parenthesis just to show it that I'm done. My monthly payment for this BMW is $477.23. That's how you calculate your monthly payment. So using this formula, have that answering these questions. Now, what are you to do with this project when you finish it? My advice to you is to save it in a TaskStream potential projects file. Because in the future, you're going to need some projects that you're going to use to represent mathematical literacy. The fact that you can read a problem and solve it mathematically. This is a real world one if you want to buy a car. I know in the age of the pandemic, most folks are like, I'll walk to school, thank you. But, you might want to buy one in the future. Or you might want to buy a house. This is how you could calculate your monthly house payment. You just substitute the principal with the price of your house after the down payment. So save this in a file, or if you want to go straight to TaskStream and you've got other classes that are this way, you could choose to put it in as your mathematical literacy or your critical thinking project, because you do have to think critically. Now, if you've got any additional questions, feel free. Now, I'm going to go over here and see if I've actually uploaded the factor table. I might not have uploaded it for your class, but I thought that I had. It doesn't look like it, though, so that's a bad thing, but I'll go and upload it for you. And it's really a doozy. It comes from an old math textbook that I've owned for many, many years, because I do have, whether you know it or not, a little degree in accounting. Should go off and do something with that. But anyhow, This is a mortgage factor table, and these are the instructions for using it. Now, we know that we've got a car that costs $22,990. So that's my number. That's the number that I'm going to put instead of the $75,000 that's here. And it's going to be for 5 years, and it's at 9%. So what I do with this table is this. I go and I find my interest rate, which is 9%. 9% is all the way down here. You see where my cursor is going? I wish I could highlight it for you. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and highlight this whole section here. Bum, 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 bum. And I'm going to highlight the top row because I want you to know what this is actually measuring. Ba-boom. And it is sideways because I printed it on a, I'm budget. I'm printing it on my own printer at school and putting it everywhere. So here we are with our car, and it was $477.23. I'm sorry this video is taking so long, but I do want to show you everything that I've got and everything that you need to know in order to do this project, and that it's not that difficult to do. All right, so here's my mortgage factor table along the top. It starts with da-da-da-da-da, and this is the interest rate in question. I'm going down here towards the bottom. All right, I'm going to come up here and maybe try to cover up these other ones I don't need. Cover them up, cover them up. That's the best I can do with covering them. Good enough. All right, so remember that our interest rate was 9%. So you would find 9% on this interest rate. And we want to go for 5 years. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ba-boom. So my factor for amortizing a loan, and amortizing means you play it in monthly payments till it's all the way down to 0. This is my number, 20.7584. So what do I do with that? I take my $22,990 and I multiply it times 20.7584. And then I divide all of that by 100. Let's cross our fingers and see if this table will help us figure out our monthly payment. We know what it is. We're going to leave it right there on there, but I'm going to come over here to the side and I'm going to go 22,990 times 20.7584. Be careful with your numbers. I can easily, put a wrong number in there. Divide it by 1,000 and press enter. Lo and behold, it's the same monthly payment. Who uses this factor table? Like I'm telling you, accountants, actuaries, people that sit around and do math all day. They have already taken the formula that I showed you, and they did all of this for every interest rate. Of course, they use an Excel spreadsheet to do it quicker, and they came up with those numbers for 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 4 year, all the way up to 30-year mortgages. And that's how they calculate a person's payment very quickly. Now, I hope I didn't give you a headache, and I hope that this helps you with your project and encourages you to get to work and really prioritize this class for the remaining 3 weeks that we have together. Our final exam is coming up. You will find that within the final exam, I'm going to try to give you a little bit of help. I'm going to give you an opportunity to have 1 page of notes. You can't use your notes. No, you cannot. But you can take a page and write on the front and back of it every note that you deem to be important. I will post video reviews, and I do wish you all the best. Thank you so much for listening, and good luck with your project.
Only for hot gal in the place.